The Steam controller is an interesting piece of technology. Before I got my hands on this, I had my doubts. Could Valve really create a controller that can make the majority of games playable in a 10-foot experience? Can a gamepad, any gamepad, replace a mouse and keyboard? But having run this controller through a few tests and after hours of configuration headaches, I think it's starting to win me over. First, let's talk about the Steam controller's problems. I've heard a few people complain about the controller's size, saying their hands were too small and their left thumb strained reaching for the thumbstick. My hands are average to large sized, so this isn't really a problem for me, but I think it's still worth mentioning. I had to add a UDEV rule in order for the Steam controller to work in Ubuntu. It doesn't even list the USB device in the terminal without the UDEV rule. People are saying that it does work on SteamOS and Windows out of the box, but even when I tried to connect the controller to a Windows partition, I had seemingly unending trouble. Not to mention, I experienced 3 failed firmware updates that left me worried I had bricked my brand new gamepad. There's no overarching control paradigm. That's a huge concern for me. I consider myself somewhat of an adaptable person. When it comes to new technology, I can learn, unlearn, and relearn relatively quickly, but this controller is quite intimidating. It's such a departure from traditional controllers, and the fact that it's remappable on the fly sends my brain through a loop. What do I mean when I say overarching control paradigm? What I mean is, there's yet to be established a sensical genre default. This will come in time. Think of console gaming, where every shooter uses pretty much the same layout. Halo, Call of Duty, they all play very similar. But here, by the controller's very nature, you can't really migrate the old way of doing things to this new design. As I said, it'll come with time. Why do I think this is a problem? Because while I may be an early adopter, ready and willing to learn something new, a lot of people aren't. There are so many people, console gamers, traditional keyboard and mouse only PC gamers and others, who will give this controller a single chance. And if it doesn't work in their game of choice, or it doesn't work as they'd expect it to, they might just tune out and not give it another shot. And now the good stuff. Just about everything I mentioned above is a problem with the software. That means that when either the controller or the games get updated, these problems will potentially be fixed. That's pretty rad. Games like Half-Life 2 and Left 4 Dead 2 feel like brand new experiences when played with the Steam controller. Half-Life 2 in particular controls like butter. Portal 2, the only game I tried with native Steam controller support, was the clear winner of the bunch. The game can contextually remap the controls depending on what you're doing. This is a real strength of the Steam controller. You can change just about any button to do anything you want it to do. The trackpads can act like buttons, D-pads, analog sticks, mouse clicks, or any keyboard key, and the same goes for everything else. While I'm not completely used to it yet, this is how you make a virtual keyboard. I would like to see some kind of gesture-based typing, think swipe on Android, but otherwise, this is a great implementation. The Steam controller has haptic feedback integrated into the pads. This is awesome, as it gives the feeling that there's momentum being preserved when you flick the trackpad, almost emulating a trackball. But it doesn't stop at the trackpads. There's haptic feedback available to the thumbstick, the triggers, and even the buttons. This allows for there to be more programmability, but it also gives your finger some kind of a response to virtualized functions that they would otherwise be lacking. The greatest strength of the Steam controller is its future. How will developers natively implement the controller into their games? What kind of innovative mechanics can we expect to see come from this controller's dual trackpads? I, for one, am very excited to find out how this device will change the industry. I believe this forward-thinking gamepad is a fantastic, if currently under-supported, gaming peripheral. Despite some of the limitations of the current software, games not recognizing or utilizing all of its features, and an unintuitive scheming system, the Steam controller has a bright future. When developers natively support this controller in their future titles, the gaming industry will forever be elevated for it. There are some quirks. But on the whole, I believe the Steam controller will eventually achieve what it has set out to do, and that is to make the entire Steam library playable with a controller. The Steam controller will be available for purchase November 10th, 2015. Have you had a chance to use the Steam controller? What do you think of it? Be sure to hop over to Patreon and let me know what you think, or on Twitter at The Linux Gamer. Feel free to check out the rest of my channel, including my previous Gone Home review, or my Steam controller unboxing. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and share it with your friends. And make sure you subscribe to see more from me, The Linux Gamer. Thanks for watching.